Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In this video, we're going to take an in-depth look at the 2024 Acura Integra A-Type. And in this video, I'm going to try to uncover why people don't like this car. A lot of people hate on it. Honestly, you can watch videos out there. If people are giving their honest opinion, usually it's not a good one. And a lot of it has to do with the CVT and having to upcharge for the manual transmission. That's a head scratcher to me as well. But in this video, we're going to go over the inside. The outside, we're going to take a drive, and I'm going to let you know what my opinion is on the 2024 Acura Integra A-Type. Type A. But before we get started, I would like to say a huge thank you to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this beautiful Acura. I'll be sure to leave all of their contact information, including their website, in the description box below. By the way, I know it's Acura. I'm mispronouncing it on purpose just for a little whimsy. And by the way, I also know it's A-Spec, not Type A or A-Type. I know it's A-Spec. Just relax. So when Honda came out with this body style, I guess technically this is a hatchback, because in the back right here, and you'll see it in just a minute, it opens like a hatch, not a trunk, because the glass is included when you open it. Thought it was a little funky looking, just a little bit weird, because I think there's too much going on back here, and it just looks disproportionate. It's starting to grow on me a little bit, I have to confess, but I still am not 100% sure about it. One of the things I do like about Acura vehicles is they look premium. They look really good, honestly. The design is nice. The way the fenders are and the lines, it looks kind of angular. I like that. It looks fast. On this particular one, because it's the A-Spec, I do love the wheels. The dark wheels right there, and it is a 5-spoke design. Nice big brake calipers. I also like the front of it. I am actually a fan of big, fat, aggressive looking front ends. This one has a big pentagon looking front end with big diamond shapes inside right there with the big prominent Acura icon symbol logo. And I love how Acura is continuing to put Integra right there integrated into the actual bumper. You can actually feel it. It's embossed. That's really nice, actually. Kind of a hearkening back to the old Integras. I also love the headlights, and for some reason I'm particularly a big fan of the taillights as well. Everything is LED up front and in back. Also, your fog lights are LED as well. Thank you, Acura, for putting fog lights on your sporty models. This is the A-Spec, and if this were a Toyota or a Lexus, it would not have fog lights for some reason. I don't know why. I like the hood. Look at the lines, the creases in the hood. That's a cool look there. Honestly, since it's starting to grow on me, I like the way it looks on the outside. I have no complaints. I especially love this silver color in combination with the dark wheels. It's a pretty good look. So let's go around here and look at the rear. The taillights, like I said in the beginning, are actually super cool. And you can see here that they are LED right there, right? And I do also like the dual exhaust. That's a good look as well. A-Spec badging on the back. Big Acura emblem. And then here's what I meant by the hatch. You see the glass rises up with the door, so that makes it a hatch. 60-40 split seat, plenty of cargo area. It's nice and tall in the back. That's the advantage of having a hatchback. That's nice. And then you can see that you can't see the glass right there. That's because there is a cover. That's nice, so that you can conceal the things that are in the back for a little privacy. There is a button here that I hit with the key fob on my person. That is to open, that is to lock. So whenever you close the door, you still have the key fob on your person. You can press the little small one, and that locks all the doors. Isn't that nice? Then coming around here to the side, you have a massive fuel door. This fuel door is huge. Notice also, there's no getting into it because the doors are locked. So if we go over here, touch the door handle, now we have access to the fuel door. There's also a cap for the cap because it's capless. So there's a cap for the capless. Isn't that nice? So that this covers this when you fuel up so that you do not have spillage. Back seat is small. Oops, it did not unlock all 4 doors. So now we have to do this, and I'm sure that's a setting that you can do to unlock all 4. So you can see that the front seat is adjusted for me. I'm over 6 feet, and that gives you virtually no room in the back. So that is going to be a tiny little rear seat, and there are no comfort elements. There is no center armrest with cup holders, and there's nothing right here at all. It's totally blank. It's just a big thing sticking up. No charging, no nothing. I am surprised that there are even speakers in the door, but there are, and that's nice. So that's your back seat. Coming around here to the front seat, everything is pretty basic, if I'm being honest. All these materials are plastic. This is a faux leather type feel, but it is soft touch, contrast stitching, a little bit of brushed looking metal there. But everything is very plasticky. I think that there is a little bit of a step up in the interior when you get the tech package, which this one does not have. And the reason I know that is because it does not have lumbar support right here. If this had the tech package, you would have lumbar right there. The seats are nice. You can tell that they are nice Acura seats by the big lines going up and down. The seats are decent, actually. You know, there is big bolstering right here, contrast stitching. It's a leather type material, and the seat is fine. I do like the way the steering wheel looks, but this is where one of my biggest complaints about the Acura Integra is the fact that when you get in, and I'll show you in just a second, that you cannot tell the difference between a Civic in this Acura or a base Accord in this Acura. The only thing that you can tell the difference is the fact that it has an Acura emblem on the steering wheel, and that's it. I'm telling you, this is a Honda through and through. All they did was change a little bit of the exterior styling, slapped an A on the back and on the front, and jacked the price up a little bit. And then they also are going to charge you to get a manual transmission. If you graduated high school or college in the last century, then you remember being able to get a manual transmission and it costs less than an automatic transmission. Well, on this one, you have to get a slushy CVT unless you want the manual transmission, and then you have to pay more. I don't understand that. It is what it is, but I don't understand it. So if you want to actually have fun in the Acura by getting a manual, you probably are going to have to order it and then pay more. Weird. Under the hood here is a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with 200 horsepower and 192 pound-foot of torque. The torque and the horsepower are close. They almost match. They're only off by 8, but it's got actually pretty good torque. It feels good. And I do have to say that in spite of the fact that it's mounted to a continuous variable transmission, I know I gave it a hard time before because you have to pay more for the manual transmission. It has a slick little pseudo shifting with your paddle shifters on the back side of the steering wheel. We'll get into that in the drive, but it's actually pretty nice. Check out your battery here. It has a nice little fur coat on it, and that's going to be about it for the engine. We're basically looking at a Civic engine, and instead of an A, there would be an H if this were under the hood of a Honda. And but that's going to be about it. Again, I don't appreciate the fact that this one has a prop bar. I know that sounds silly, but if you're going to be paying a premium for a near luxury vehicle, put some shocks there, man. Come on, Honda. I know it's small, but I know you got to save money where you can, but you're charging people more. Give them more. The inside of the Integra is 100% Honda, other than that and that. Acura A-Spec. That's a nice touch. I just wish there were more touches like that in this interior. In fact, that is a downgrade. It is a fake carbon fiber. It's plastic. But in the Honda, you had this honeycomb thing that goes all the way across. To me, that should be in this car, and this should be in the Honda, not the other way around. But that's it. As far as the interior is concerned, you can go back to any of my videos that I've filmed a Honda Civic in. You can watch those, and it's this same information. I hope I'm not sounding too critical, but it's kind of disappointing, because right here, you could just take a picture and you could exchange this with a Civic. And this car has a base starting price of about $34,000. That's incredible to me. Over here on the left side is going to be your audio controls. Over here on the right side is going to be safety systems with radar cruise control. That's nice. Lane mitigation, all of those things. You do have paddle shifting, so you upshift here and you downshift here. Now, I do have to say that in spite of the fact that it has a continuous variable transmission, the paddle shifting software that Honda has put into this thing is actually pretty cool, because it does sound like it's downshifting and upshifting. There's a weird kind of a sloshy effect, but for all intents and purposes, it has kind of a good pseudo feel to it when you put it right here in S mode. Then you can take the dynamic mode and you can push this up, and I'm going to show you what happens here. There it is. It's in sport now, and the gauges turn red. You can shift down to normal, and it makes this kind of like watery sound. You hear that? So there's normal, there's comfort, it turns blue, but then when you pull it down again, that's kind of a, don't do that. Don't touch me there. I don't like that. So dynamic mode, when you put it up into sport, and you pull it down into S mode with your shifter, that's going to be the most kind of sporty mode that you have available, and it's actually pretty decent. Right here is the automatic shutoff feature, so that's where you can turn that off, and I do that every time I get into it. I'm glad they actually integrated that button there so that you have control over that feature. Parking brake and brake hold. There is no wireless charging. Here is another thing. You see the gas pedal, and then you see this right here. So this piece needs to be on this side, because this is soft and it's thick and it's padded, and this is plastic and it's hard. That is the gas pedal. So when I put my foot on the gas pedal and I'm driving, it needs to be about like that, right? And then you just lean it, and then your leg touches this hard, and this is nice and soft. So this needs to be moved over here, because your leg is going to fall directly on this thing every single time. I don't know why that's there. It has a manually adjustable steering wheel right here by this little thing. You have a traction control off button there. And then of course you have auto dusk sensing headlights, and your wipers are here. It does not have automatic rain sensing wipers. Makes no sense to me there either. Then here is your instrument cluster gauge. I do have to say that the digital dash is nice. It's nice and clear, nice and clean. And everything here is great. I really appreciate the way this dash is. This is not good. Watch this. When you put it in reverse and you see your backup camera, this is from straight up a 2014 Pilot, because that's what my wife drives. And the camera is the same in this car in a 2024 Acura as it is in my wife's Pilot, except the grid lines are dynamic here. So when you turn the steering wheel, the grid lines do move. But the graphics or the clarity of that is just not good. And then right here is your basic touch panel. It is a tiny little bitty screen. You have basic functions here for phone, radio, media, connecting your Bluetooth device, and then when you hit menu, that is what pops up. It is nice because the touch system is very sensitive. It does fuss at you when you go too far down or too far up, and that's kind of it. So when you press phone, then you press radio, it's like all black and white. Why is it in all black and white? I don't understand it. Look, there's blue trim, but when you go back to menu, everything is in black and white. And then it's just extremely basic. Now, if it sounds like I'm being overly harsh on the Acura, maybe I am, because I honestly can say that from the aesthetics, from the looks of this car, inside, especially from the driver's seat, it is not good. Acura, you could do so much better than this, because the customer is paying a premium and they're getting a Civic. Now, that's not a bad thing. A Honda Civic is one of the best vehicles on the road. It's unbelievably reliable. They're bulletproof. They'll last forever. They're fuel efficient, great vehicles. But the customer is paying more. They're getting an Acura logo emblem, and they're getting into the Acura family. You want them to stay with you. Do better inside. Amazing turning radius this thing has. It's on the floor. It's a peppy little engine. That I can't say anything bad about the engine. It's got 200 horsepower, almost the same torque. That's good. That gives it the pull that everyone loves. And the suspension system is totally adequate. It's fine. I am in sport mode right now. I am not in manual mode. I'm just in regular drive, and I'm on kind of a parkway area, and it feels good. The driving experience, in spite of what the materials look like on the inside of the car and them needing to be upgraded, the driving experience is good. The driving experience is typical good driving Honda. I'm shifting down to manual, which you can do at any speed. I'm going to use the paddle shifters now. And that's 60. That is, and you hear it's hanging. You hear that? Downshifting. I'm at a stoplight, and you hear that it's holding the high revs. I'm in second gear right now. I'm at a stoplight lining up against two other vehicles. So, oh, here we go. All the way on the floor. That's pretty good. And I only pulled my hand away when I was shifting like that, so you know that I was shifting. That's a pretty cool experience. I don't mind that. As long as this continuous variable transmission, and now I would prefer the manual transmission, but as long as when it's in manual mode, it holds revs and it has some semblance of gear changing when it's in manual mode, and it reacts quickly to the paddle shifters and you can actually hear it, I don't mind that. That's pretty good, because I understand that there's a lot of people nowadays that can't even drive stick, and that just, you know, means that manual drive vehicles are just being phased out. Hashtag save the manuals. But this is a decent substitution for it. It's not ideal, but hey, if you're going to force people to get continuous variable transmissions by making them pay extra for manual, you better at least make it as feeling, as you know, as sensory engaging as possible. And And at that, it does a decent job. I'm at 68 miles an hour right now. I'm in 7th gear manual. Now I'm going to go down here on the shifter, shift up into regular drive. Now we're in regular drive mode. I'm going to go down here to my dynamic mode switch, and I just switched it into normal mode. And now we're turning about 22 to 2400 RPM at 67 miles an hour, and all is well. As far as the road feel, I feel a lot of bumps, but I kind of expect that because this is a sporty version of the Acura Integra. It's not bad. That's kind of par for the course. That's what you expect. That's what you actually want, is more of a road feel, and in that regard, excellent. I really enjoy that. So as far as the continuous variable transmission is, if they're going to force you to have it, this is a pretty decent way to do it. I also appreciate the fact that Honda makes one of the best, if not the best, radar cruise control systems on the market. There's a little graphic in the center of your dash that shows the vehicle placed on the road. A lot of manufacturers do that. In fact, every manufacturer that has radar cruise control does that. But Honda's shows you the car moving left and right in real time in and out of a lane, and that's a neat little way to do that. I like that little trick, Honda. So interstate driving, just fine. Looking at this display, it's like you've got this really nice, crisp, clear, colorful center display with your tach and your speedometer, and then you look over here and it's just like clunky, pixelated looking multi-information display, and it just doesn't do well. Back into manual mode, paddle shifting down. We're in 2nd gear, corner into corner. Pretty good. And I don't know if you could hear it or not, but there was that sloshy type of draggy feeling that I was referencing earlier. Ironically, right now I am behind a Honda Civic and Honda Civic Sport. You might be able to see it right here when I pass it. Could you see it right there? It looks just like this car. I can tell you right now, if I had this car, I would probably be driving it in manual mode all the time, because it does. The paddle shifters respond really well to it, and that's great. It corners okay. It's sufficient. I think you can push it without there being a whole lot of fading to the outer edges of the corner, and it's fine. The driving sensation in this Acura Integra is sufficient. Would I buy this over a Honda Civic Sport? I would not. I would buy the Honda Civic Sport. I would save my money and maybe do some upgrades or a Type R or something to that effect. But if you are determined to have an Acura Integra, it's going to be a good car. It's going to be just fine. If you don't mind the appearance and stuff, have at it. If I was going to buy an Acura Integra, I think though I would wait and buy the Type S. Not wait because it's already out now. I would actually buy the Type S, and that would be a whole lot of fun because that thing has 300 horsepower and it's a whole lot different. That's the one I'm getting if I'm getting an Acura Integra, but this one is more affordable, and again, it's going to be a good car. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for our look at the 2024 Acura Integra A-Spec. It's not a Acura Integra Type A. And I hope you didn't, if you've made it this far in the video, then you didn't let my little joke at the very beginning offend you when I said Acura Integra A-Type, because that's a personality type, as we all know. Anyways, I'm so sorry. Again, I would like to say a big thank you to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this Acura. Please check their information out in the description box below. But remember, the most important thing of all, everybody, have a wonderful day.